Hey everybody, welcome back to Farming Simulator 25 Frankenmuth Mega Farm Project episode 28. We have been rolling for, my timer is on 8 hours. About 2.5 of that was filming the episode previous to this one, and the rest was watching this. No, 3 hours. So for 5 hours this harvester has been running, and we are at 98%. We've just finished the whole thing, but and this is the last bit. But yeah, so the plan here is to move it into September as soon as possible, which will be right after I dump this stuff, right after I dump these beans. It's currently the best time to sell beans, and so therefore I'm not going to hold on to them, not that I could store them anyway. Yeah. So we're going to move into September and do September-y things. I think I planted all canola, so we don't really have any planting to do that I can think of. So most of this should be my money. I'm still not 100% certain. Okay, 47,000 for my bonus, and also 53,000, 52,800 after rental, 52,000 for the thing. So now we're gonna go sleep. Of course, we're losing cotton, which doesn't matter whether we sleep through it or not. Right, September, here we come. All right, we are in September, and we have made quite a bit of money. I don't know where the old doggo is, and I don't know how to change. I don't know how to change the doggo's name, so his name is Lux, and that's basically it. Right, let's get to what we're planning on doing today. We could be planting barley or wheat, but we already have everything we own planted up currently. So we do have a bunch of general maintenance to do. We've got some roof plates. Almost 2 roof plates. I also turned on the cement stuff, so we can go sell some of that as well. The prefab walls sold overnight. Do we actually have stuff to sell? What's our November? Okay, September. Water. Water is best in September. Ha. We could sell some more TMR. But, yeah. So, I think we'll hold off on all the barrels and bathtubs. buckets are best in March. I'm going to actually hold up and see if they are actually significantly better this time. Although maybe we want the money. You know, so my tentative plans, we could use another large lumber mill. We could install the lime factory. And then we buy a couple of tractors, a telehandler, and a couple of forklifts. And then land and sugar factories and dairy, cows and buffalo, flour mill, beet harvester. So, yeah. We got to do our usual maintenance. I'm going to do that as we go. We got to pull, if maintenance is the wrong word, chores. I don't think we need any, right. Yeah, we definitely want to pull some eggs. And due to issues we had last time, we probably want to make sure that all of our eggs are tied down. I think we may breeze right on through September and jam on over to oh, we gotta unfold. Jam right on over to October as quickly as possible, which actually can be rather quick because we need to make room for the eggs, but that's basically it. The other things that are spit out, I guess we want to move the cement products over, but even that doesn't matter. Yeah, I think we're just going to move on into October and get to work on the cotton. Now, October and November are cotton this time because I planted them 2 months off. Staggered. We've got a total of 3 spinneries to be running cotton in, so I'm just going to put cotton in these 2, though, because I still want wool to be getting processed logically. Although it is about time to actually push wool in. Last month we sold the wool and made a decent amount of money, I think about $50,000. But this time we want to go way over there and see. Oh yeah, we also got a hold of this yarder last episode, and it's going to be a big help later on when we have piles of small trees. But for now, we don't really have to do much over here except hold out. Yeah, I think we can hold out till January to sell those wood chips. We got to do our water, which is a little bit more now that we have all of these extensions. That second greenhouse back there is basically just living off of extensions. which was my intent. We don't have, oh, we do have some weeding and fertilizing to do. Speaking of which, how much is that? How much is that thing? I really do want one of those, and we'll go through a bunch of hoops to get it. Yield improvements, sprayers. Yeah, one of these guys. This guy's, yeah, we want one of these guys. Possibly even that guy for 420. Well, let's see here. Yeah, that thing is going to be big. I wonder how it gets out to, yeah, narrow tires for sure. 54 meters, 438. Now we are about to make a bunch of money selling. Well, we got to get this hoed anyway. But we are about to make a bunch of money selling our barley, our eggs, our wheat, although I think I'm going to keep the wheat. We've got money coming in in decent amounts every month from the Cooper and the lumber mills and the greenhouses. So I think I can get away with more loan and pick up that sprayer right away and use it on these canola fields. But actually, we're going to let a helper do this while we work out. Oh, it would help if I actually had it set right. Yeah. So if we look at what we have available to us here and what the pricing is, the eggs are 100K. Definitely can't sell the clothes. We could take a 30K loss on the eggs and be pretty good. The Cooper stuff basically totals to nearly 100K. Another 30K loss on the canola for December. Instead of waiting till December, I think we wait on all of these, sell them at their best, and pay off a loan instead. Can I get loaned up to 400 and say 50? Okay. That ought to get us what we're looking for, plus enough money for liquid fertilizer, which is this guy with 54 meters of spraying capability and narrow tires. Yes. Yes. Buy. Yes. Okay. Now we have the biggest sprayer in the base game, as far as I know. There it is. So spraying these fields ought to be pretty good. It is seriously foggy out though. Let's have a look at schedules. Yeah, we could be planting, okay, we could be planting wheat. We could fill the cotton fields with wheat, and then, let's see, and then we would not be able to get a proper cycle over to planting cotton in time. Those clothes are such a good moneymaker. We're looking at, like, by May or whenever they sell. Last time it was crazy. It was nearly $1 million. It was 800,000 something thousand, but that day was nearly $1 million. And with this thing, man, spraying's going to be easy. Might even be worth taking fertilizing contracts. But I was going to turn the speed up and get us into sunny times. We got to go load up on liquid fertilizer, 8,000 liters of it. With a sprayer like this, it might be worth swapping back and forth to a weed killer. Yeah, we're going to be taking all of the fertilizer. We're more in debt and have 14 grand. I was about to pay the loan down by 200K when I decided to buy this thing, so that's kind of funny. Maybe we just pay the loan off with the closed money. Like, maybe we just pay it all the way off. Or maybe we buy a whole bunch of stuff. Basically, between the greenhouses and the solar panel and everything. This thing also has narrow tires, so we can drive on our fields. Oh man, this thing is gonna be cool. Like, what's the actual distance? Look at that. Look at that. That's a pretty serious wingspan. That's pretty cool. This is not a small field either. Well, let's get this fertilized. Okay, so it looks like our auto sales are pulling in at this point like 4+ K an hour, which is good because we need that kind of money to pay our workers and continue to increase our bank balance and pay for supplies of various kinds. I also set this thing up to all-wheel steer, which I tend to prefer. Now I'm just wondering, is that... Oh, that's not my field. Huh. That's my field. Which we can just get on and do possibly before that thing even finishes here. Whoa. Yeah. However, all-wheel steering is a little squirrely when you're used to front wheel only. Field 21 also took like almost 4,000 liters, which would have been a pain on the other sprayer. We would have had to go back and get another tank at least. I think we might, if we're lucky, be able to do both fields on one tank. So yeah, we're just gonna get back to it. All right, so I did actually break down and go hit that other one up, that piece that I had missed on the cotton. We could go, no we can't, because those are, that stuff is now ready. But this guy needs to go over and weed up 21 now though. I'm wondering if there's any reason not to kind of upgrade to a weeder if I make sure that, like, I could go with a really big weeder and just kind of use it at the right time. If I was 100% certain that I was weeding. Now I noticed that they give me contracts where the plants haven't even germinated yet, and yet weeding still seems to work. So So maybe there's something there. Maybe I can weed right after I plant or something. I don't see how that would actually work. But since I would think that the weed seeds would just end up being pulled along instead of the germinated ones doing their thing. But we will just go over to the new thing, if we can find it, and go put it away. I guess this lives in the big barn, in that top right corner if you're thinking of the barn layout on north to south, where I was keeping the semi until I bought the new one and started keeping it in the other shed. Alright, well that's one reason why it wouldn't go there. But then again, that doesn't need to be flat. So I don't need to move that power tube. Right. So we've got the hoeing. That's going. Next month is the first sale. The wool does not need to be transferred, I don't think, unless I'm low on spinneries. Cement factory's rocking. Let's go visit that actually. Ooh, one hole. I do believe that the cement factory is a serial thing and not a parallel thing. Which means if I really want roof plates, I need to actually turn off blocks and bags and let it go plates. Cooper's getting planks. The fermenter is out of everything, which seems to me to be a bad thing. But then again, all we need to do is grab hay, which we have, and that puts it back in right away. And we've got plenty of hay over here. So it might be a good idea to fill it up. I'm guessing, having run overnight, that I can probably get a full load of hay, possibly into each one of those. Fermenter will take 50,000, and the mixer will happily take the rest. And we're almost full on mixed on TMR again. We gotta get the telehandler over here and push some of that stuff in. And maybe the baler to bale up that pile again. I can probably do a little bit of the work with this guy. We'll leave that there. We're going to need it again eventually. Yeah, and we're doing fine, I determined, on trees. So I don't think I need to put much effort into that. I guess I could throw this stray log. This thing turned around. It would help if I wasn't. Ah, that'll be fine. We do need to get those stumps worked on soon. Okay. Oh, good. Jeez. That scared the life out of me for a second. These guys are not even big enough to register as trees yet. Probably want a shed down here soon. Is there any big old... Well, certainly not going to take a... Oh, the refresh contracts button doesn't seem to be working. So maybe that's just a straight up one, like, base maps or something. I don't know why it's not working. But what I do know is that I do not think I'll be picking up another $50,000 harvesting contract on stuff like beans or whatever. Because that's just not good. Now, the hoeing on 21 is going on, and we could do a grass cut over here now on the new big grass field. Now that all of it is ready to harvest. Although we definitely don't need grass for the sheep until next season. Man, this is huge now. But what's kind of cool is there's no longer a worrisome border with a kind of cash crop kind of thing on that side. And I own all that, so less care need be taken to keep everything on the field. Oh, you know what I could do with that autoloader is actually load up the flatbed fairly easily. Although I don't know how much more I can fit on the flatbed versus that. That would be a good experiment to do. Is how much can we put on the autoloader? Let's get this thing started on an end for once. Just to see what happens. Well, not even what happens, but just to be cool. That's a good question. Would we benefit from having a bigger mower? So we're rocking this at 10 meters. This is also 10 meters. Goes 3 miles an hour faster. Looks like it has the thing that does that. And then how big is the MacDon? We go look at the whole MacDon setup. That's a grass mower, it's 5 meters. So not good. And 24. Yeah. I guess the biggest mower we got is pretty much here already. This is going to take a while. What happened there? That didn't get planted right, unfortunately. I may have to come back and lay down some grass seed on that spot. Well, while we're waiting for that, there's got to be something we can do. Well, we can go sell the single roof cap. Make sure our grass properly falls down. Thing only starts up when it has a pile in it. And it runs till the pile's empty, and then it turns off and doesn't pick up when there's a new pile. But yeah, we get these guys sold at least. Maybe that thing doesn't need any? I thought that thing would buy a cement bag. Well, we're just going to leave it there for now. It'll either buy it eventually or not. So we've got some time, but I don't see any more. You'd think harvesting would... You'd think harvesting would be a big thing in the fall. All kinds of green crops and whatnot. So I was kind of thinking I needed a big old bale shed to stash stash bales in. I think that makes some sense. Possibly... Well, I was going to put in a farmer's market, but I think actually we're better off with a big old grain shed, a big old bale shed over here somewhere to kind of store bales and keep things a little more undercover. I know it's not actually technically necessary, but it just feels wrong. So something like this guy, maybe with solar panel. Ooh, 64,000 on top of that. Maybe over here, since we're not using that inlet anyway. We could have it pulling up, and I don't want to get in the way of that. Yeah, something like that would even a little further like there. Huh. Well, we will consider that. In the meantime, we're rocking our hay. We've got a full load of TMR. How's TMR doing? Not bad. Animal dealer. So we could run some TMR. I don't trust that. I don't trust this guy to properly go around, but I want to see if we can get looping sales going. Because we'll be able to make more TMR before we need TMR. So the question is, can you, sir, sell TMR on a loop? Or is that going to be too complicated for you? I'm gonna bet that it can't do it. Load and deliver. Fermenter. No, not fermenter. Mixer. TMR. Animal dealer. Looping. Go. Yep. As I was saying. Now, if I made roads, it might work. In the meantime, if I want to sell it, I gotta do it myself. Well, I'll do one or two just because we can, but I'm not gonna sell out that whole load. That whole mixer. It's not gonna, yeah, not gonna work. Now I'm curious, can I just set that mixer to auto sell for the moment? Yes. Yes, I can. As we push time forward by a little bit. And all of a sudden we have 121 grand and no TMR, which means we can throw some more hay and straw in there. But we only want to throw about 25,000 liters of straw in there. Because I don't want to fill up the whole thing, because we've got straw waiting to be loaded. So I'm going to go do that, and maybe we'll end up being able to move to October soon. Now I'm wondering, should I get a big old bale trailer, flatbed kind of thing, besides the one that I'm using for eggs? Because I can probably load directly from the autoloader onto a trailer and be able to send that to various places. I mean, I could just grab a Propuliner flatbed, except that doesn't do that. That's not really a flatbed. This guy, oh, that's a multi-steel. So we could get this guy, just a straight up flatbed. I could put maybe 3 stacks on there. 35 grand, I think it's worth a try. Because then we don't have to drive back and forth so many times anyway with the other thing. With the PWO. We're not going to get into cotton harvesting this episode. I can tell that right now. I've got a pretty hard limit on recording tonight, given that I spent 8 hours recording last episode. Well, getting last episode done. Just not the usual timing, and I've learned my lesson on the big contracts. As profitable as they are, they're not actually profitable for the amount of effort involved in, like, green beans. So green beans are probably worth a whole lot of money, and they're probably worth growing, but only if you're getting all of the money. You know, just earlier I was wondering what the solution was for running out of gas on these electric vehicles, because there are various diesel tankers and tanks and other things that you can do to bring diesel out to your stranded tractor, but I don't recall seeing the same kind of thing with a big old battery pack or something. So how do you recover from running this tractor out of electricity? Like, I don't know of any tow trucks that exist in game that I could tow it to a charging station. I don't know of any winches, flatbed towing trucks, ways of getting it up on there. I mean, without super strength, I could super strength walk the thing over to a charging station. But as far as actual, oh, we doing up and downs now, this way now. Neat. That's a change. So, while we're doing a little more of this, While we're waiting on the mowing, I think the hoeing's probably done. I haven't gone to check, but yeah. The hoeing's done, the fertilizing's done. We're just looking at that mowing now. But yeah, if I got like the biggest weeder, and I wouldn't need to worry about skinny tires because it wouldn't be used when crops could be damaged anyway. If we get to the point where we need to weed and crops can be damaged with a big old weeder, we are in position for needing to spray. But we might as well pull some trees down. This thing we can thought there was a way I could kind of angle this thing up somehow. Well, maybe actually grabbing it by that is a better option. If I can actually get it back into that. Well, that thing isn't even ready for any. So I guess it's just the mowing. Alright, mowing is done. I'm not going to bother to mow that piece that I'm planning to put cows on. But we need to do some tedding. We're going to do that next episode. Because we're going to ted and bale and pick up the bales next episode and move into, then we'll move into October. Or we might just bale and leave them stacked and move into October. And then in October we'll do the actual pickup. Maybe. Who knows how it'll go. But let's have one last look at this stuff. And just see that everything that should be fertilized is fertilized. Nothing has weeds, or nothing that I care about has weeds. Nothing that I own is ready to harvest, although this cotton should be ready to harvest next episode. We've got a bunch of canola. No grains this time. I do think we might as well pick up 22 sometime soonish. Whether we combine 21 and 22 for some massive field or not, I don't know. These are already some big old fields. We look at what could be harvested right now. So October we'll probably get some soybean contracts. Quite possibly sunflower contracts. And maybe we'll take a corn contract too, but I doubt it. That's a lot of carting. Unless we were running a forage harvester over it. We might even take cotton contracts if there are any. But the main thing is we'll be harvesting our first cotton in October and our next cotton in November. Oh, interesting. I don't see any snow in the long range forecast at all. So that's cool. But we have done everything we need to do. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will catch you next time.